Hey, hi guys, hey everybody. So hope you're doing great. Uh, and What we want to discuss today. So actually, not too much updates apart from the reminder about passing the interview with the mentors. So that's the last call for you. In case if you haven't scheduled the interview with the mentor yet, so please do it as soon as possible. And in case if you experience some problems with that, also please let us know so that we could align it accordingly. So yeah, that's the last week for you to pass the Core.js interview. So for the preparation, for sure, you can refer to the listing that is presented here in the preparation to interview page. There are lots of questions for you to get better prepared. But this is the last call, so please do not waste the time because it's running out. And just a quick reminder that the interview counts as passed in case if you receive 6 out of 10 as the final score, as well as good feedback from your interviewer. So if you successfully pass interviews means that you're eligible to go forward with the stage three. In case if not, well, that you probably need to spend a bit more time to cover your gaps from the previous stages and try the next run, which is most likely is about to start in May. So, well, actually, for now, we do not have exact date since we want to beat the line, our timeline. But at the same time, you will not miss any information. So, but anyway, let's proceed with the interviews. That's the last week. Um, and please do not forget to let us know in case if you experience some problems with scheduling the interview with the mentors, because I received some requests coming up with such messages that they experience problems with scheduling the interview. So please let us know accordingly. Most preferable way to so is ping us in DM in private, so that we could try to sort it out. And starting from the last week, we already started our stage three that is fully dedicated to Angular. So I believe that's quite tough topic for you since like if you most likely wants to get better familiar with React, so it's much simpler to get it. No, Angular is more complex, and yeah, I believe that it's not an exception, but it anyway. So I hope we're doing great with that. One more thing is that due to we don't know exactly the current skill set of the mentors in terms of frameworks. Let's say some of them are familiar with React, some of them with Angular. So for now, with the stage three, um, you'll be in the same group with the mentors. So, unfortunately, we do not have the technical feasibility to redistribute you among the mentors. So, you will stay with the same groups, but at the same time, there is no guarantee that the mentor could help you with Angular. And in such case, let's agree that in case if something is not clear in terms of Angular, and you definitely will have some questions regarding the given topics. So let's agree that in case if something is unclear for you, so please leave the questions. You can pick me in private or um, write the questions here, but tag in my name so that we could discuss the Angular topics that are not clear for you. And yeah, for sure, you can also try to reach your mentor in case if he's also Angular expert. So he could probably help you. But in case if not, and will not exclude that it's maybe the majority could have some problems with discussing this matter. So please leave as much questions as you can, in either in the private or in the questions by tagging my name, so that we could discuss anything in terms of Angular topics. Or obviously you could raise it during our Q&As, so that we could cover them as well. So the previous week was mostly about the introduction into the Angular, the essential Angular building blocks such as components, directives, and pipes. So the Angular application is mostly consist of components. So I believe you're already familiar with component approach. Yeah, so and we are moving forward with another set of topics for you to get more knowledge about it. And as the part of your home assignment, so there will not assignment by weeks. Instead, we will have one big assignment in terms of Angular, and this is the project management application. Unfortunately, whenever I was preparing for the Q&A, I just realized that since Heroku stopped a free of charge service for web applications, so all of the links given here are not working. So obviously you can open it and see how it looks like in terms of front end, but without being authenticated. So whenever you try to authenticate, so you'll encounter an error. And I I almost forgot about that. But for now, I that's for such reason I posted the link to the Q&A from the previous course run when I where I exactly was presenting this task to the previous students, so that you could take a look at this later on. Here I left the link with the time code where I start presenting the task. So in a few words, uh, so this something like the clone of Trello, of Jira, the simplified clone where you can create boards with the columns and tasks to manage the task, the improved to-do list. But if you're familiar with Trello, you know that okay, maybe if you don't familiar with it, so I can just show you real quick. Um, Something similar, most likely we want also to use. So we can like refer to Trello. So that's I could present you how it will look like. Of course, yeah, the design is free, so that's as usual. It's up to you. But for now, we just want to present you the concept of what we are trying to achieve. For example, yeah, on the landing page, for instance, we have the list of boards that we could create. It could refer to any of the projects. That could refer to my personal achievements, my to-do. It could be related to any other project-related activities and so on. So here is basically the list of boards. And whenever I click on some of the boards, I got redirected to the page where we see a number of columns, which I could create in any order. So let's say I can create a new column. Under each column, I can create a card with the task. I also can, by dragging and drop, reorder such columns, as well as by dragging and dropping, move the tasks among the columns. And that's actually the main concept that's we want to achieve in within the project management system assignments. So for For your further implementation, there is the link to the backend repository, um, where you can take a look at the set of endpoints that is used um, for getting or posting the data, as well as a little instruction on how to start up the backend locally. So for now, that's not a blocker. So you could refer to the recording of the Q&A here to see how the application potentially could look like. So, and meanwhile, I would try like to find the working prototype from the previous runs, and possibly I will deploy the backend somewhere else so that I could share the demo application with you. So for now, let's stick with the following. Since you for now, you accomplished the following modules, so most likely you want to start with the main road. Since you don't possess knowledge about rodent yet, so yeah, it's the scope of the current week. So but potentially you could start creation of the Angular components. For instance, we could start from the welcome road. This is the landing page that describes what is the project all about, and the content of the page is fully up to you. So you could decide what's need to be presented here. So yeah, that's up to you. So that's the landing page. The main route as will be the listing of the boards like we see here on Trello. So let's jump real quick here and scratch. So yeah, welcome root is some information about the platform. Header footer is the shared component that's it's not going to be changed depending on the current root. So it's the static component that's remain unchanged. So login sign up, this will be another route. The main route, as I saw, already presented you, is the listing of the boards, and the board route is the main one. Is whenever you click on the board and gets navigated to the columns and tasks. So actually, we will have more or less the same. Yeah, and for more information, you can refer here. And whenever I find another working prototype that's could be inspected for you to get more knowledge about the project itself, what needs to be done within this assignment. So I will post the link accordingly. In terms of the backend, so for now we stick with running the backend locally. Most likely we will leave the same approach also for the task evaluation in case if I will not find any suitable service that could allow us to make numerous of the requests and do it free of charge. So for now, let's keep in mind that we use the backend locally, and whenever you will post the task for check, so you could also like mention that to evaluate the task needs to run the backend locally. The same as we did it already with the async raise task. So in the backend repository, the link is given in the task description. So you can see how to start up the backend and as well as get more information about the endpoints that you could use to get or to post the data if you need it. And also pay special attention to the technical requirements in terms of user session. If I'm not mistaken, already like mentioned some of the features within the lecture recording, but yeah, so pay special attention to technical requirements and to the user session because some of the features are depends on whether user is authenticated or not. For now, let's focus on creation of the Angular application itself, and you could start creating the base components such as header, footer, which will not change um, if you get navigated to another route, and you could start with the welcome page, and then whenever you get more about HTTP routing, so you could start creating another pages, start with the static markup, and then add some authentication features, as well as rendering the columns, the board, and so on. Okay, so but for more information, you could refer here, and whenever I find another demo, so I will let you know accordingly. Okay, so I believe this is it for now from my end, and as usually, let's discuss your topics. So please go ahead. I'm ready to. Um, Deep, sorry, for some reason we can't hear you, but let's see. See, I can hear you. Was I
I can hear,
silent?
I can
Yes, I
hear you
can
now.
hear you.
Mm.
So, if the question is the same as you posted in the chat, so the extra video about me and Stack, it's hard to find such video on YouTube and currently stuck at authentication. So for the rest ones who doesn't know what the MEM stack is the set of technology that is used to create the client-server web application. So it's abbreviation for MongoDB, Express, Angular, and Node. The set of technology that is used for creation of web application. Not sure whether I've seen such videos somewhere. Needs to check. Maybe I have something
Yeah,
already. Uh,
no, then like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So I'm not sure that we can use it now.
so I believe yeah. So the 2 years, like it's term when some other features or better practices are already introduced, but for now you can keep with the video of 2 years or earlier in case of it. But honestly, I don't have anything regarding Mian itself. I do know that. So we already cover Angular. So and in terms of let's say the Node.js and Express itself, there is the separate course which is conducted in the RS school. So if you will see the recording, so basically you can cover the Node.js and Express itself. For now, in the most cases, for the backend, if it's implemented using Node.js, the most of the projects use Nest for implementing the backend, but it's also based on Express. And it's after drag and drop how to save it to backend. Uh, so uh, uh, in terms of drag and drop, so on the front end, let's say you handle such event. I don't think the drag and drop is something that is too complex. So whenever you drag um, uh, s- uh, the column or a task. So you indicate the state of the element that is you are dragging right now. And whenever you hover over the element where you can drop the element, so they also apply the style for it. And whenever you drop, you need to send the request. So let's see. In case of the column, you need to perform put request because it will update your current column in terms of the position. So maybe we could also, let's see, maybe from the history, I have another link, another bookshop. Okay, so maybe I could refer to the history. I just removed the previous link since okay, let's refer here. So it's project management, so already like removed from here, since it's this version of the backend has some issues, but well, for now I don't unfortunately don't see any Swagger here. So yeah, for sure, but for sure we can refer to the column module, for example. We see that the endpoint for working with the column. Okay, let's navigate one more time. So, for instance, we want to change the order of the column, right? So it means that we need to make a put request. So for the types of requests, I believe it's okay for you and it's clear. So get simply you need to get some data. In case if you don't specify anything, you get all the possible records. In case if a get request uses some sort of ID, that means that you need to fetch the data of the particular entity. The post request designed for creation of the entity, put request for updating, and delete, yeah, obviously for deletion. If you want to change the order, so then you need to perform pull request. Oh, sorry, put request. And if we inspect the schema, so we'll see that each column will have title, which is string order of the column, which is number, and board ID of the column where it has the association with the current board. So actually, whenever you move in the column, so you most likely wants to change its order. So to update such, whenever you dropped the column, there is the DOM event that indicates that you've dropped this. So you need to perform the put request and send the column data with the updated order, and it will be updated accordingly. The same for the task item. It also has an order. So I believe for now it should be better to start. Deep, sorry, we still cannot hear you, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I can work. I should work more on the back end.
You don't need to work on the backend, actually. Everything on the backend is ready in terms of the current assignments, or you just want to know more about the backend because that's your intention to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of the current task, you do not need to know about the backend, about its implementation. All you need is to know how to start up the backend and which of the endpoints you have. So for now, I was showing you the source code files just to present which of the fields each of the entities has. But for the testing, you can run the backend locally and start making the requests. For instance, you can create a new board. Then you get it and you see which of the entities and which fields it contains. The same you could do with the columns, and to do such requests locally, so most likely you need to use Postman. And don't forget, if you want to make the such requests, so most likely this request requires authentication. So first, you could like try to create a new user to authenticate, and in return, it will send you back the token that you need to use to get authenticated. Okay. Okay, let's see, because I don't quite remember. So because I don't see anything from here in terms of mm, which exactly header should be used if we want to get authenticated. So most likely oh, sorry.
No, I'm just searching for the auth.
Okay, so okay, we could inspect okay. So from the source code, we see that to get authenticated. So first, we either making post request to the Auth sign up, for example, for new user registration. It will return the token. In returns, it will send a token, and that token needs to be set for the header. The header called authorization. So something like so I will show you in terms of like in terms of fetch and API, but you obviously need to use the HTTP client from the Angular. There will be something like headers, and then you need to create a new record called authorization. Then the word bearer space, and here you insert your token. And to indicate backend that you've been authorized, you need to send this token with each request. And when you will get a bit more knowledge about the HTTP client, there is the feature called HTTP interceptor, which could be used for intercepting the request to modify its headers and put the token each time. So that's we could indicate that we authenticated. But you should be beware that the token could expire at some moment. And if the request has been failed, in that case, you need to clear the token from the local storage and move the application to the anonymous mode, so that you're not authenticated anymore because the token has been expired. Okay, for now I believe it's clear.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Okay, are there any other topics?
actually, I don't really understand the intersector. Yeah, I should be more.
So for now, I would say, since you just like started working on the assignment, for now I would focus on creation of the project, or creation and setting up the project, creation of the components, uh, and which is also time consuming. And then you could think on how to implement the client server interaction. So for now, let's focus on the little things and then proceed implementing the HTTP requests. Okay, are there any other topics?
Should we use a reactive form or driven template form?
I would say the reactive forms are the more preferable um, for creation of the forms. And it's not about the assignment itself. It's also about like the best practices because in the main difference between template and reactive forms is that the source of truth is located in the component. For reactive forms and in the template uh, forms, it's in the template. So if you want to get more about your current form, so most likely you want to have only one place when you can work with it, and this is the component class. So I would say the reactive form is the most preferable way to work with forms, but there are no restrictions in terms of which type of form you are going to use, so that you could freely choose the approach. But I would highly recommend you to use reactive forms.
Mm-hmm. And is it required to use NGRX for in the project? Like a
Yes, yes, it's this. Yes.
like every time I add a new project, it doesn't show up immediately. I have to reload the page to make the new project show up. So
So to avoid reloading the page, so once am I got correctly that's whenever you create some entity, it's not showing up because you have to reload the page.
yeah, yeah, it happens all the
Mhm.
time. Yeah, it's like
Okay, in such cases, so whenever you create any entity on the backend side, you make post request, right?
Mhm.
And the best practice here is to return the updated or created entity in return. So whenever you make post request, you will receive the created entity that you just posted, including all the IDs. And this record you could push to your array of other elements so that your changes will be immediately show up on your application, and you will not need to reload the application fully. Or in case if the backend has limitations and do not return the created entity in return, so you could just refresh your current list by making a new GET request. But in the most cases, the post request returns the created entities so that you could start using it right away.
Mhm. Thank you.
Alessia, you're too silent today.
Yeah, what is going on? Tell me. No, I'm just waiting to ask the question, and it's very extremely windy today. Um, I have a question, but it's not about our repository, I would say. On I read, uh, like Rolling Scoop main page,
Okay.
there are like React and Angular courses in March starting. My question, by chance, if you know, like for example, the Angular that is starting, is it the same as we are having right now? Or it's a different project? Or it's for
Um,
more
it's
advanced?
so it will be a bit different. So well, in case of materials, it's more or less. I mean, in terms of lecture recording and materials, it's more or less the same. But it will contain the new task by that is designed for accomplishing by each week. Once students accomplish each module so that the task will be different, but in terms of materials, it's more or less the same. We already notice it, and the new course run, so most likely will start a bit later, so that's the Angular course will be general for anyone.
Oh, okay. And
So
you
there are
don't
no
have
significant differences in terms of courses. If you're interested, and you want like to practice Angular more, so
yeah.
of course you can like go forward and start implementing the tasks, for instance.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yes, that's what was my question because since it's new to me, I would like to have like more tasks to practice on, so I would understand it better. But I didn't know like if it's like for more advanced or this experience or something, because I couldn't find the repository for that.
Yeah. Okay.
And can
And
you explain a little bit about NGRX? Because I almost finished my project without NGRX, so I don't see the advantage of using it.
have you watched the lecture recording?
I have to find another method because I can't see the phone. The phone size is too tiny zoom for my eyes. Sorry.
But yeah, so we already like covered the JRIX and the state management in general. So do you think the information given is insufficient?
Yeah,
So
maybe
already in the couple of weeks forward, we already have JRIX covering.
next week. Actually, next week we will have.
So I would suggest first to watch the recording at first, and in case if you still have some other questions, so we can discuss it separately.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh.
Okay then, so in case of no other questions, we're good to close the session. I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, please let us know in case of any other curiosities or questions you want to ask to us. And don't forget to ask Angular specific questions to us, since we know that's not all of the mentors possess this skill. So that's we could try to help you. Yeah, thanks everybody for today's session. Thank you for your questions, and we'll see you later, and have a great week.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Have a great
Have a
week
good
too.
week. Bye bye.
Goodbye.